When you came up with this character, Paddy Meehan, how much of her character did you decide at that point, and how much has developed? And
well,
if so, have you been surprised by her development?
I'm surprised by how much I like her, because I try to make quite an obnoxious character, female character, because I thought, you know, to work in that kind of atmosphere, she would have to be quite obnoxious. And I was supposed to write a standalone and then a Paddy Meehan book, and then a standalone and a Paddy Meehan book. And actually I just wrote 3 Paddy Meehan books because I became quite intrigued by her. So I was surprised by the way she came out, and delighted actually, because it's nice to have somebody that you want to spend time in their company.
It's a very exciting decision of yours to tell her story through decades of time. Were you nervous when you started doing that? Or
no.
Because it's a very bold project, obviously.
Well, I think the idea was to write a biography of Paddy Meehan's with big gaps in between. And so that I could write a biography of the print journalism in Scotland at that time, and also of the city itself at that time.
Sounds very ambitious.
Yeah, it's far, far too ambitious. Yeah, I'm regretting everything now. So it had to be episodic. People keep writing to me and saying I seem to have missed some books. Are they not available in Italian? And I keep having to write back to them and saying, no, it's supposed to be like that. So, you know, I kind of hope that the audience would fill in the spaces themselves.
So before you sit down and start writing, have you made every decision, every detail of the construction of the story before that? Or
no, it's very, very organic. And yeah, I sit down and I just start, usually with an inciting incident, you know, something that's, you know, there's been a murder or something that intrigues me, and just see where it goes. And I've written books where it was all plotted out beforehand, and it's much faster to write, but it's not as much fun.
So now, do you miss the characters of the Garnet Hill trilogy?
I do actually, yeah, I miss all of them, yeah. And you know, sometimes I kind of think, you know, it'd be lovely to write about those characters again, but I feel that it's, you know, it's such a timepiece for me and where my head was at the time, and also it was very dark, and I don't know if I want to go back there because it's very intense, and I think it's very hard when you're writing a book not to take the mood of the book with you at night when you're not working, or during the day when you're doing other things. And but I miss all the characters, and I often think about them, and in my head I have little biographies of what happened to them afterwards.
Are you able to leave your work at the table when you go home after a working day, or do you sit at home watching TV thinking of the story?
Sometimes it depends what sort of mood is in the story at the time, you know. If it's something very sad, it's very hard to leave behind. If it's just, you know, fairly workaday stuff, it's fairly easy to leave. But I think about work a lot, and I really love working. I mean, I think not that many writers really love being at the desk, but that's the thing I really love about writing more than other things, you know. So, you know, if I'm not working, like I'll finish a novel and the next day I'll start working on something else, because, you know, I really love what I do, and I do so many different things. I mean, I write comics, and I write for TV, and I write films and stuff. So if I'm not, you know, if I need a change, I don't stop working, I just start working on something else.
Some of your scenes are pretty scary. Do you ever get scared yourself by your own imagination?
I do actually, yeah, I do. And usually it's kind of creepy things that really stay with me, like getting into a car with someone and then realising they're very dangerous. I find that really frightening. Or you know, scenarios where there's a kind of vague sexual threat from somebody that somebody knows. I find that kind of thing very threatening, and find that very hard to leave behind, you know. But the joyful things stay with you as well if you write a scene and it works out really well. And sometimes, you know, if you write scenes about people being tremendously affectionate towards one another, you get a warm rush, and that stays with you, so that's good. So I should write romances and I'd be happy all the time.